You know, guys, one thing I'll never truly fully understand is why the internet turns its back on the markets when prices are going lower. Do you guys realize how much money you can make in a market like this in 2025? And this is what I've been preaching to you guys since the start of the year. 2025, you guys understand you can make the most money you have ever made in your entire lives by utilizing the markets, given the condition, given what's going on. To put that into context, let me show you guys a couple of the members who are over with me at the Patreon, guys. This should just contextualize what I'm saying here about how powerful the markets are this year. And if you're not taking advantage of it, guys, you are truly and honestly doing yourself a disservice and everyone else to come in your bloodline. All right, so listen, check it out. Jason, shout out to Jason. One thing I like about Jason is I see you're always active in the comment section, and I really do appreciate that, Jason. So listen, well deserved, and I wish you many, many more for the rest of this year. Continued success. All right, listen, he made 100%, then he made 35%, then he went ahead and made 325% with me on one of our plays over at the Patreon. Guys, this is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. It's all about achieving these multi-bangers, these 100%, these 200% wins, these 300% wins, which is what we absolutely love to do, and which is what I love to see the community doing. All right, so shout out to Jason, but it doesn't stop there. Tons of the members. The Val, $1,294. Sorry. Let me put some respect on your name there, right? The Val went ahead and made $1,294 on our same trade. All right, we had some hood put options that we were holding for a couple of days, and as the market moved lower into the back end of the week, we all made exceptional amounts of money, guys. If you haven't already, please do make sure, as we get prepared to jump into another eventful week next week in the markets, you are with us, taking advantage of these Patreon plays. All right, because we're only getting started. It's only April. I know I've been saying that since January the 1st, but we're only just getting started, all right? Shout out to Yad, 100% on that play, and several others. Shout out to Radwan. Listen, I can't get through all of you guys today in this video, all right? Even though you know that I love nothing more than celebrating the whole team's success. Nothing I love more than seeing you guys win with me. I wish I could go through all the members, but I'll take up the whole video, and we've got some other things to crack on with. But that being said, please do make sure as we get ready to have another fiery week in the markets, you are with us. So that means that you will be in position to win with us, get into the best opportunities, and make these huge returns on these huge trades as we do. All right, so guys, let's go ahead and talk about the markets. Now, we've got I've got a name I want to share with you guys that will be doing exceptionally well this year. All right, it's a little bit different, so definitely stay tuned for that. But just to put that into context, I just want to show you guys overall market, the S&P 500. If we take a look from the last, call it 3 months, we could see that this thing was peaking at around 600 when the market was at its high a couple of months back. And now we can see this thing has dropped pretty significantly with a massive red day on Friday, right down about 6%. And as we go through the next couple of weeks, we know things are going to be turbulent, things are going to be choppy. So if you want to make money in the markets, you're going to have to do things slightly differently. Okay, you can't just go out and buy the standard names in the market and hold them, right? Yes, as a long term, that's fine, whatever. But if you're looking to make money in the short term, which I know a lot of you guys are, because you have bills, you have things you want to do, you have holidays you want to book, you're going to have to do things a little bit differently, okay? But that puts it into perspective into the market that most things out there have dropped in line with the overall market. We're going to continue to see some turbulence. We're going to continue to see a lot of choppiness out there. But what I want to show you guys is GameStop, because GameStop's a stock that's actually going to have a very good year in 2025. Okay, I told you guys it's going to be a little bit different, not what you're expecting, but check it out. Okay, so we have GameStop CEO, all right, Cohen, gone ahead and bought 10 million GME shares. So why is this guy gone and bought 10 million GME shares? Because GameStop is positioned very differently to how 99% of the market are, right? The tech stocks, the bank stocks, all these other stocks, they are going to be under pressure. They are going to be feeling the effects of what Donald Trump has gone and done to the markets. You guys know I told you he's going to lay the smack down on the markets. That's exactly what he did through the tariffs. And that situation is nowhere near resolved. We got retaliation action from all different nations. Okay. So we got a full-on explosive trade war going on in the mix, which has its benefits, yes. But what that means is that the majority of the markets, guys, are going to come under pressure. And then us as consumers also, we are going to be feeling the effects in the form of rising inflation, okay? Because as the tariffs are applied, the cost of doing business for these companies is going to increase. They're going to pass this cost on to us as customers. And that means that inflation is going to increase. And if inflation increases, we know inflation is not a good thing for the stock market. It's not a good thing for business. It's not a good thing for consumers. This is where GameStop comes into play because they're doing things very differently. So check it out. This guy's gone ahead and bought 10 million shares. Already said that. And the reason why he's bought 10 million shares is because what GME are doing is they are increasing their holding of Bitcoin. So what GME is doing is they are stockpiling Bitcoin. They are buying up Bitcoin as they kind of reform their business from a retailer into essentially a crypto investment vehicle. So obviously that sounds very different to businesses that are conducting normal forms of business in all these different industries. These guys are doing something slightly different. Okay, they are getting exposure to the crypto market. Now here's the thing. Take a look at Bitcoin, guys. You can see that it looks a very different picture to the S&P 500. That's why I showed you the S&P 500 a minute ago, right? If you take a look, it looks very, very different, okay? We haven't seen this thing follow the global market movements. Because if we did, this would be in the 60s. We haven't seen this drop 20%, 30%, 15% like the rest of the market has. This thing is still at $82,000. As a matter of fact, check it out on the week. You can see it's pretty much flat. So in the midst of all this turmoil, Bitcoin is just flat. So what I'm trying to show you guys is that we are seeing what we call decoupling action from Bitcoin and the overall market. And this is the first time in history we've ever seen a collapse in global stock prices and Bitcoin not following suit. Bitcoin not following the movement of the overall market, which showcases its resiliency, which means that we have to pay attention. You guys know this is something I've been speaking about for some time now, but you know, at least once a week since the beginning of this year. We're at $82,000 right now, and you guys know that Bitcoin is an inflationary hedge. Okay, because as inflation increases, not to go all macroeconomics on you guys, but you know, I'm kind of in the mood for it, so it is what it is. As inflation increases, we have a devaluation effect on the currency because your dollars buy less, your yen buys less, your naira buys less. Because I know I have some Nigerian viewers. Shout out to Nick Nigel, Nick Finance Nigel. That being said, if we're now looking over to Bitcoin, offers this protectionism from this inflationary effect, this devaluation effect. And that's probably part of the reason why we're seeing a stabilization in the price of Bitcoin and it hasn't dropped lower. That means that we are on course for some money to flood into Bitcoin. And as the money floods into Bitcoin, where else is the money going to flood to? GameStop, because we know they're re-engineering their business into a crypto investment vehicle, guys. This is powerful stuff, guys. This is real powerful stuff. So on the week, you can see that again, this thing didn't follow the rest of the market. We know the rest of the market tanked 20% here, 15% there. And yes, we absolutely knocked it out of the park with put options on those, which is why you guys should be making sure you're with us over the Patreon so you can get involved in that. But take a look, okay? Look at GameStop. In fact, on the last 3 months, this thing has come down quite a bit, but it's stabilized, all right? Last month, this thing has stabilized, put in what looks like a triple bottom low over the course of the last month. A little bit of a pickup in action, breaking through a bit of a level of resistance recently. Guys, GameStop is going much higher this year. GameStop is going much higher. So if you wanted to make money in the markets, this is where you want to be looking. So I'm going to circle back to this name as it continues to climb and do its thing. But this is a name that you want to be most definitely positioned in, because they are going much higher. And we know that the Bitcoin cycle is looking good. It's in a good position. We're expecting some consolidation and not too much action in Q1 of this year. But as we get to Q2, Q3, Q4, we're going to see this increase. Okay, as the market looks to position capital in areas where we can get protection from inflation, areas where we can get protection from currency devaluation, guys. So this is the move to be making if you guys want to make a lot of money in the markets, right? Guys, that's the video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you got a lot of value from it. And hopefully you guys were motivated and inspired by the sensational returns that those over in the Patreon have been making with me, and they continue to make with me as we continue to climb, as we continue to grow, and as we continue this movement to take over, right? So guys, appreciate that. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Drop me down some comments below. Look forward to seeing all of you guys next time.